Alistair came over and chatted to me about his incredible journey to date, not only chasing natural health for his own purposes, including his family's, but as a huge water lover. He's a big wave surfer, an offshore sailor, and has spent many many a month in a saturation tank. He regales his stories and tells us some of the most poignant things that led him to try our products. And I'd love to bring this casual conversation to you. Maybe you'll pick something up, but it's a really fascinating story. He's a really super cool guy. So I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you online soon.
By the time I walked into the airport, they were saying, everyone go to the plane. So I went through security. There was no one to check my bag in because I thought they'll make me check one of those bags in.
Yeah.
Oh, got on the plane with my blue blockers on.
It's only been a couple of weeks, so you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm just getting used to all of this.
Have you driven with them?
Yeah.
They're pretty cool. And it has a way the headlights don't burn your eyes.
Yeah.
And then I was lifting them up and I'm thinking, I can actually see a little bit better because it's the morning dawn.
Sure.
See the kangaroos better, but I'm really enjoying these
the kangaroos, right? So you don't hit them.
Yeah. So I make it to the airport.
Excellent. Yeah, driving at night is actually really unpleasant once you've experienced the blue blockers, I think.
Oh yeah. Anything at night with lights on is unpleasant.
What did it for you? What made you go, right, I'm purchasing these?
Well, I'd heard a podcast. I'd heard someone tell me about, they're designed so you don't have to go outside. And I'd read Raising Conscious Kids, and they'd mentioned a bit about the EMFs and everything. They hadn't gone down that path, but they'd left it for everyone else to find out. And someone sent me a podcast. It was 4 hours long of Jack Cruz. And he said he was wearing blue blockers. And then I was Googling a couple of friends. Which glasses? And the chiropractor in Lincoln said, oh, you just use anyone's. Yeah. They all work. And then I watched that. Yeah, probably. Yeah. And then I watched Jack Cruz, and he was like, they're blue blockers. And it turned out that my stepdaughter, who lives in Penang, has a small family, couldn't handle the bright lights in the house. So they changed them all over to the same, and they used the same crew that sent me the blue blocker glasses, a block blue light, I think they're called.
Yeah. And we use that as well.
Yeah. So she showed me the bulbs in her house.
Yeah. These are block blue light too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They're there purposefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that was that. But I think you want to talk about the water,
do I? We're doing a bit of experimentation around the water. Just I don't drink tap water, and I'm drinking kind of spring water, but
do you buy it?
Yeah, the spring water I do, and I'm not entirely sure how great it is, but I think from going from kind of more of a carnivore diet, I will eat leaves if I've grown them. They're supposed to be, like, food wise, low in deuterium. So I think I'm graduating more from the carnivore, still keeping the meat based, but then doing kind of anything that is really kind of microclimate local based in the kind of like natural kind of side of, like, either leaves or what's in season. And when I met you and you'd got all your bags and you were like, I packed my lemons, so okay, let's explore that.
Oh yeah,
because they're in season. Yeah. And you drink your warm water in the morning. Is that to kind of set your digestive system? Tell me more about why you do that.
I've always been on the health food journey, I reckon, and I think it comes from being a surfer, and it comes from my former partner. She was like a kitchen gardener type person.
Cool.
And she got me into the lemon, and I was never really a tea person, and I was definitely never a coffee person. So I started having these lemon teas because they were going to be good for me, but I enjoyed it. It's like, and sometimes I'd be like, oh, Al, you forgot your tea, or I'd come back, or I'd make it, and I'd go to the beach and come back like 5 hours later. Oh, look, my tea's still sitting there, and just drink it cold. And just started enjoying it and then I've got this tree where it supplies a lot of lemons. So
excellent.
Yeah, at the moment I'll just do 2 in the morning. Two lemon teas straight up. And then it wasn't long, and through that podcast I was telling you about that set me on my way to the blue blockers. He was mentioning about eating food locally and and I'd always heard about it locally, but I thought it was more for helping the environment and yourself by eating local food. Go buy organic food. If someone doesn't use spray, grows vegetables at their place, it's got to be better than the organic food from further away. And then the circadian rhythm of the lemons. So I've got these lemons. Going to Queensland, well, I think I've got like 14. You want a couple? I've got like 14 in my bag.
Oh, are they in the same barcode though? Yeah, because you have been on a flight.
Well,
Yeah.
that's right. No, they have been on a flight, so that could have been, but
Thank you.
they
That's
weren't on there
great,
for long.
great. And on the plane, and this is like really random.
Yeah.
So I've heard that again through some influences that I mean I think if we've been on a health journey, everyone's coming in from slightly different pathways.
Mm.
And we come to the point you're like, yeah, I've heard about that and I'm incorporating that and I'm feeling the difference and that's awesome. Now with regards to the kind of EMFs and I think planes have been referred to as like a microwave.
I could imagine.
Yeah. Did you take your shoes off and did you find some bit of kind of metal to place your feet on? Apparently,
No,
that's supposed to be kind of more grounding. And also, I've
really?
heard that when you get off the plane, you want to be out in the sun and you want to kind of ground yourself as well for about half an hour, so you don't get that detrimental kind of mitochondrial
Yeah, wow. What,
kind of
negative.
yeah like a negative
Yeah.
but I think if you were
Oh,
flying all the time,
yeah.
then that might
Good
come into play.
points.
But I thought that was just like really, really cool.
Yeah.
More so for long haul, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Yeah. So if you're
yeah,
crossing a few time zones, then
yeah.
you do half an hour's worth of grounding and then you don't get jet lag, I think was more to the point. So
Yeah,
short flight,
okay.
you were
Yeah.
what in the air for about an hour?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not even that. Yeah. But yeah, if I
Yeah.
was going, I don't know if I'll ever go back to sat diving, but if I was going to the Middle East, um,
Mm.
yeah, I'd have to try that. I saw something not long ago actually about jet lag and heading west is worse. And I used to find that, sorry, heading east is worse. I used to find that coming back from the Middle East, I'd be a lot more jet lagged than I would going there.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, just traveling against the sun type thing. So
Yeah,
what you'd
okay.
leave at night
Sure.
and then it'd be daytime here.
Hmm.
And then by the time I get here, it'd be
Hmm.
dark.
Yeah.
So you'd miss a whole day,
Mm.
But it's deeper than that when you actually find out about the circadian rhythm of
Mm.
things.
Mm.
It's so deep how everything's so connected, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Tell me more about your circadian practices.
Well, I've always kind of been one of those people. I lived in this farmhouse out of Streaky Bay as a surfer.
Mhm.
And that's all I really did is surf for a long time, although I was a roof tiler. That's before I became a diver. I used to think, I could just, if I'd never had a partner that complained, I'd just be one of those people who'd go to bed with no wind, no blind or curtain,
Yeah.
and wake up when the sun told me to get up,
Hmm.
which works out well if you're a surfer.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, being a surfy, well, usually the best waves are in the morning, when the wind's better, the wind's still offshore, the wind's still light. So it pays to get up early. And then it just becomes imprinted in you, I reckon. It was imprinted in me as a young child as well.
More like totally more outdoorsy and into the coast and getting thrown around in the sea, you know not much of screen time, and that's followed through with your family with the whole Steiner schooling as well.
Well, that's what it was meant to be, yeah.
Yeah.
And all we had was wooden um toys in our house and
Mm.
things like that. Try
Mm.
not to have the plastics, but it's hard when they become teenagers to
Yeah.
guide them in a way where they actually will listen. Some listen better than others.
Yeah, and I think they're like really influenced by their peers as well. So,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
mobiles come in like younger and younger now, and then, they're stuck on them and they hang out maybe more so via their phones and via other screens. And look, my daughter does it as well.
Mm.
I think she's reasonably mindful, but often she'll be talking to a mate on the phone whilst there's some movie or something going on or some other social media stuff on a bigger screen. The double screening thing is like real. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could imagine, yeah.
Yeah. How do you try and influence your youngest?
Oh man, I tell him the truth
Mhm.
because I feel that, his mum lets him do have his own way too much with it.
Yeah.
Like he had Bluetooth headphones and she would not listen to me. He would not listen to me anyway. He's put them down now. He doesn't want them.
Great.
Things
Well
like
done
that. And like I always turn the internet off at night.
there. Hmm.
And so when I'm with him, the internet goes off at night. And I usually go for a walk in the morning and come back and he's just getting up or he's just gotten up and usually he hasn't been outside. So I'm just like, right, I've got to be there when he gets up.
Yeah.
He's flicking on the internet.
Uh-huh.
Apparently it doesn't take 15 minutes to warm up, Dad. It's almost instantly.
Uh-huh.
But come on, let's just go outside and get some light on our eyes. It's the best time. It's the best
Yeah.
time. And
Yeah.
I'm
So
lucky with him that he's kind of one of the always he's been here before, he's one of those human beings
yeah, he's an old
who's
soul.
yeah, he's an old
Yeah.
soul, he's aware. Whereas I think my daughter's a bit more like me, just tripping out on life, banging in the walls. Like that's not to say anything bad about her. It's just like that's how you figure out life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And being 14 with a phone, it's dangerous. It's dangerous for what it could be doing to her everything.
Yeah, and the kind of mental health side with what's being kind of projected as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
whole bag.
Yeah. We don't need to go into it. I think
No.
we know all of that. But I want you to talk to me about how we've touched on this already with your surfing and when you had a couple of head injuries and that brought you to your backwards walking.
Yeah, so I had a severe really bad head injury, down to the skull. It was open up, and it was quite a horrific experience. I was assaulted, and that would have the good thing about it is that it happened to me. It didn't happen to someone who would have broken, and it would have. I wouldn't blame anyone for not wanting to come back from that. But anyway, I did, and I went to Port Lincoln, and I did the tuna harvest, and I was just waiting for weather really to sail my boat back to Sejuna. It's about 2.5 days, so 2 days sort of sail. Anyway, I was YouTubing too much, and I came across the knees over toes guy, and he was going on about walking backwards. So I thought I'll give it a go. And I was walking into town a lot from the marina. It was like 5Ks. And some days I'd do it twice, and most of the time I'd do it backwards. I was like, oh, this backwards walking is really enjoyable. When it finally came to sailing my boat up the coast, I couldn't wait to get off the boat. And the first thing I had to do was walk backwards. That's how much I craved it. And my chiropractor was telling me that he'd done, I told you about it. I forget what you said it was
The
called.
craniosacral.
Craniosacral.
Yeah.
Where he put the thumb in my mouth and got me to look left and right. And he reckoned that was helping my neurological pathways. And he said that and the walking backwards, which just helped spur me on more. And then I found that if I did very little else but walk backwards, it had to be helping me, my mind, helping me to improve. And I would always find that my surfing felt like I hadn't stopped. So if I went, say, 6 weeks without surfing, I could go back in the water and almost felt like there wasn't much of a step into surfing. I'm just there doing it and doing it at my level. So backwards walking works for me.
Yeah, fantastic. And I know that, in kind of rehab when you do like hydrotherapy, if you're coming back from maybe a hip hop or a knee op or something, that backwards walking with a bit of resistance can really help because it offloads your joints. It's offloading the front of your hips and your knees, which we put too much load through anyway, just because of the way that we tend to move. And we can move in all sorts of directions, but we tend not to kind of go sideways and backwards as well. So
yeah,
I think you'd like totally on something like that.
Yeah, no, I reckon I am too. Yeah. It's surprising how many people will go, "What are you doing?" And you tell them, and they're like, "Oh, I'm having too much. I'm flat out walking forwards." It's like, well, you can't help yourself. Nobody can. And then you meet these people, and they're like, you don't expect it. And they're like, "Oh, that's the best exercise for this, and it's the best exercise for that. Are you doing that for your brain?" And it's like, yes, I am actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah, a little backwards walking plan.
That's it. Yeah. If only I could just set up something where I could just take people backwards walking and pay my bills.
Oh, yeah, I know. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
see.
actually a way in it. Yeah. Through my boat in that wild west coast where I live.
Talk to me about your saturation diving and what you've kind of learned from that.
All right.
And you spoke about, okay, I think we emailed a couple of weeks ago maybe, and you were talking about your eyesight.
Oh yeah. So I became a saturation diver. So you live in a hyperbaric chamber for a month at a time. My record's 37 days. I think my shortest sat's maybe like 16 days-ish. I've done 29 sats. I've spent nearly 4 years under pressure in the saturation chamber. You'd be lying there with not very good light, and you'll get an hour's notice to dive, and you may have been awake or you may not have. And you wake up and you get your phone, which is full of blue light and LED, and you're trying to focus on some email that could have waited, but you've got a family at home, half a world away that you can't help anyway, and you've got to go diving, so there's no point. But anyway, I found it damaged my eyes. So I'm 53. In my mid 40s, I changed to 1.5s to read.
Yeah.
Like, so I could take the newspaper and read it outside, but struggle, and then put the 1.5s on, maybe even ones back then or 0.5s. Anyway, I built up to 1.5s, and my eyes just aren't as strong. But I stopped wearing sunglasses like 4-ish years ago, and between not wearing the sunglasses and taking I've been taking the histamine support,
Right.
that has been helping. That has helped my eyesight, I reckon. Definitely, like it's just it feels stronger again. You know what I mean? And I reckon the histamine support probably has helped my brain a little bit more along as well. You know, like
Mm.
everything kind of comes at the right time as long as you open to the universe to bring it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and yeah, sometimes it comes at the right time because you have to tell someone something, and then they can go on. You know, and learn about blue blockers themselves or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's kind of like my eyes with the saturation diet.
Yeah, definitely. And you kind of, I guess you'd think that with you doing quite a bit of surfing and sailing as well, you're getting that natural light through your eyes, but
Mm.
probably because you've gone to the other extreme,
Mm.
then, I guess that kind of myopia is just kind of crept in. But
Mm.
you kind of,
I
I
was
think
always
in general terms, you'd expect it around this kind of
I was always a bit
age.
paranoid about my eyes, but you know, like got to wear sunglasses, and
Yeah.
probably notice I've got this eye's really red,
Okay.
and this one's not. I had pterygiums in my eyes, so it's like a growth that grows across your
Oh,
eye.
okay. Yeah.
It's pronounced pterygium, but I think it's spelled pterygium.
Right.
Anyway, I got this one removed,
Yeah.
and kind of a weird operation because you can see the light, you can see the arm coming, but you can't see what tool's in it. And then I don't know whether it was since then that was not my dominant eye since the operation. And yeah, grew up on the East Coast sailing and stuff as a kid and was really competitive. So used to get really quite burnt on the eyes
Yeah.
looking at the white sails. Anyway, yeah, 4 or 5 years ago, I stopped wearing sunglasses, but I'm going to go to the Sunshine Coast this afternoon for my dad's service because he's just passed at 90. And I'll find that really quite glary up there probably. So
Mm.
it's not to say, depending on where I am, I wouldn't wear sunglasses, but
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't find I need them in the life I'm living in South Australia.
Yeah. And I think this is a kind of surface kind of condition, isn't it, as well? Seafaring.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think dust and stuff can affect it
Yeah.
through gym as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But great that the histamine support kind of really helps. So we're running a um product testing trial at the moment with probably about 20 customers of ours that have got allergies in some description. So rich in DAO with the kidney, but there's also kelp in there, which is great for generating more energy and also immunity too. So it's awesome that you've felt the benefit of that, and you've had the capsules for a month and
And the
the
powder.
powder. Yeah, and then we've got the kidney powder to follow that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think it was kind of easing in with the capsules first for people that maybe didn't like the taste of the organs, just as a real easy, and this is kind of the dosage, 3 to 6 capsules a day, and then kind of moving on to the powder, which can be added to. And you have it? Do you have it in
Yeah.
your bone broth?
Well, I've had it in bone broth,
Mm.
and it's already meaty bone broth, so,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I like it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I was having heaps of greens,
Hmm.
um, and so I was just adding a big teaspoon of that to like a green salad,
Yeah, right.
and
You put it in the dressing, or you just sprinkle it on
I
top?
just sprinkle it on top with the olive oil on the
Yeah,
lemon and everything. Yeah,
yeah.
it worked
Lots
for
of lemon.
me. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely lots of
yeah.
lemon. And sometimes, and I'll even, rather than just taking it dry, although I can eat it dry, even if you just tip a bit of olive oil over either the chunks or the powder, I
Hmm.
don't mind it like that.
Mm.
I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll spoon it out of the cup. It's quick and easy to eat. Well, no, you're not going
Yeah.
to spill it if the boat's leaning over.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, true. Mm.
So,
Yeah, awesome. So we had a brief conversation about kelp before we
yeah,
pressed record, and you wanted me to tell you a bit about the kelp, and you intuitively collect kelp when you're out. Tell me a bit more
yeah.
about that because that was really cool.
Well, I just noticed, well, and I have for years, that there's kelp all over the beach, especially when there's like a west swell.
Hmm.
And my former partner was a full-on gardener, so there's many a trailer load of kelp I've collected. And it's amazing stuff because it can be totally dried out, and then you can get like a wettish sort of day and it'll go soft again. Anyway, started drying it right out and put it through the coffee grinder a few times, or and having in a powder in a jar. You can add it to food, or you can add it to a dog food or whatever, and was doing all that. And it's kind of like there's something in this kelp. And then I never bought anything from Grassland with the kelp because I had the kelp.
Yeah,
It's like I've got the kelp. My kelp
yeah,
must be just as good as the Tassie stuff. It comes from the same ocean. Maybe it's not quite as good because Tassie's that bit further down. And I have been on the west coast of Tassie. There's less plastic lying around there than there is on this coast, I'm sure.
yeah.
And then talking to you about the way they harvest it and how they use the stuff from the stem, I know
Mhm.
nothing about it other than I'm just a hack who's guessing.
Mm.
Yeah, so yeah, I've done it off and on, and then but having it I don't know whether it's a placebo or not, but having it in that mix seemed pretty good to me. And that
Mm.
could have been like the whole why I just got that bit more out of my eyes, or why I feel like my brain is maybe ticking just that little bit better.
Mm.
It could be down to the kelp in there. And well, I don't know, but it's definitely got positives.
Mm. Yeah, totally. And natural kelp, great. But all I what I didn't add, I guess, when we were talking was the fact that we say it's like freeze dried, and we have lab tests with all of our batches of products, whatever the products are. And with a kelp when it's freeze dried, and because we're using the stem, it's 10 times more potent than its kind of raw equivalent. And because it's freeze dried, then in that way, it's more bioavailable as well. So you're ingesting and actually able to utilize the iodine more kind of readily than you can with the desiccated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yep. So if I've dried mine in my shed, it's because of that slow dry process, I'm not going to possibly be able to absorb as much out of it. And it could also get more impurities in it by dust and
I think it's more the the quality and the texture of it,
Mhm.
because it isn't it's maybe not porous. It's probably going beyond my kind of pay grade or my understanding kind of thus far. I just think when it's more dried, you can't get as much of the iodine out of it. Yes,
Yeah,
it's
that
still
makes sense. Yeah.
beneficial, but yes, it's something to do with the kind of processing, and it's in the same way as the organs, that you'd have to eat quite a lot of like raw liver, for example.
Mm.
The liver, I think, is 4 times the nutrient density than the raw stuff. But of course,
Yeah,
we want
okay.
to eat things in their natural
Yeah.
form more so if we can. It's the convenience, I think, of the products that
Yeah.
is
Well,
great.
I told you that's why I like the product as well, because I was into
Yeah.
the bone broths.
Mhm.
Couldn't, didn't have the, wasn't able to make my own and then freeze it and stuff. And I was like, this has got to be better than bone broth. And I can just keep it in a packet. I can take it offshore into my sat chamber, or I can take it on the boat, and I can just have it there. And then it keeps, if you keep it cool. I don't put it in the fridge or anything like that.
Yeah. 3 years.
So,
Yeah.
oh, there you go, three
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it works. It's unreal. Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't. Yeah, if I sometimes do buy bone broth, but yeah, grasslands are higher up for me than the bone broth because of that. And then when you
Mm.
explain about how you can get the nutrients out, that probably explains to me why I feel good when I'm having that product. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, that's really great. And you found us through P&A Organic Meats.
Yes.
Yeah, on
Yeah,
Beetle
yeah.
Road.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's who I found you
yeah.
from. Yeah.
Enrico's awesome, and he makes jerky with our liver powder. So he rolls the jerky in it, and he does a liver powder mince as well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so he's been experimenting with the products for a little while, and we purchase meat from him too. So good circular economy there.
Yeah. I've never done the I'm sure it's a pate I've seen getting made
Yeah,
on YouTube.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
That
I'd
really long
like to make
video.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I could probably condense that and do a fresh one. But yeah, I think growing up, I didn't really like the taste of pate, but this is like
No,
a
never did.
baked Danish style.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's milder. Yeah, when you don't like kind of eat bread unless you cook it, unless you bake it yourself,
Yeah.
then it has that kind of like naughty quality to it, but you know it's all good
We
stuff.
used to get pate on our sandwiches when I was a kid. And
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's all about the product. The one you buy, if mum buys the one that you don't like because it's the cheapest one or whatever, you
Sure,
might be
yeah.
turned off pate for the rest of your
Yeah.
life
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
until your health
kidney.
food journey leads
Yeah,
you there,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
definitely. And you eat for health, you know,
Yeah.
not for the kind of taste. Because yeah, you're a bit more involved in that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so that's good. Yeah, it was the same with
Although
me with
everything
organs.
tastes great when you eat for health.
Oh, of course it does. Mostly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It depends how far you take it, but yeah, yeah, definitely. So, all right, give me some of your secrets. Things that you've learned along the way that you're just you know you won't do kind of without it now, or the big kind of light bulb moments.
Oh, geez,
I
you're
know, I
getting
know.
me
Did I
there.
stump you there?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yes and no. Oh, it's only recent, like, I don't like, so you're asking like health sort of stuff,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that I put in
Sorry,
my
yeah.
mouth type thing.
Or just, you know, the universal energetic stuff that have made you a better person. Yeah.
Oh, getting assaulted and getting hit in the head. Now, that was like, I was like, right, there was always something not quite right about me. I'm going to make sure that this turns me, that's the little, my little something. You know what I mean? It's like help my brain to be that bit nicer or that bit whatever, you know? And then when I was,
you're more grateful now for life and
oh,
you know
definitely.
the great stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was a close call. Yeah.
And then
Wow.
other things I can think of is I'll chew on a clove every now and then. Like I'll chew on a few cloves during the day. Yeah. I don't mind the taste, and there's meant to be quite a few benefits, and I couldn't list even a tenth of them, so I won't. But I kind of like the flavour. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, oh yeah, I'm in the oil pulling.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coconut oil?
Yeah. That's what I prefer. But I'll go up to the Sunshine Coast and I might just buy some olive oil or some avocado oil or something, and do that.
10 minutes?
Yeah, I usually do about 10 or 20, yeah. Yeah, kind of depending, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that's a breakthrough.
Like-minded.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, great. And yeah, so we'll chat offline about water because I'm still very much learning.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a couple of books I can show
there you go. Well, I'm into rainwater, and I read, I should have brought it for you. Tim Flannery's The Weather Makers. I've read it a couple of times. I'm one of those people, if I read a book, it doesn't always retain, something to do with my head. Anyway, he goes on about basically the artesian or arterial sea that is around us, in the atmosphere with the water that's moving through the atmosphere, and we are water, and that's why I can do those deep dives, because we are water and we can compress. You got time for my deepest dive story? Yeah. So I already told you in an email, so because I'm a sat diver, 197 meters is my deepest. Our tickets are 300. I do know Italians who've done 350, and man shouldn't go to 200. I tell you, it's a phenomenal place. But anyway, you do kind of like 8 hours from seal to seal from when the bell leaves the system. It's on the vessel, and then they lower it down, and the divers go to work, and you take it in turns to be the bellman, diver one, or diver two. And just take it in turns. So usually there's 3 teams of 3 working 24/7. And I've worked in West Africa where I can't see my hand in front of my face for the whole dive in like 60 meters, and that's horrific. I don't care who you are. Anyway, so 4 o'clock in the morning, we might have locked out of the bell, so it's dark. And now it's say 9 o'clock in the morning, and we've got this white sandy bottom in the South China Sea, clear ocean, as clear as you could ever imagine. And the diving supervisor says to me, because I've got this helmet on and I've got helium that I'm breathing, and I'm talking in a squeaky voice, and he's got a video camera, he can see everything if it's clear enough. And he goes, let me know when you got a visual on the crane. The crane's coming down to you, because I'm basically an underwater rigger waiting for the load to come down on the crane, and I'm looking for it. And sometimes it's just got a strobe light, it's hard to find, and they don't want to put it on your head. Anyway, you know what I found before I found that vessel?
A mermaid.
I mean, before I found that, before I found the crane. No, not a mermaid, but I found the vessel on the surface, 120-meter long ship on the surface, so I could see it from 197 meters. I thought that was pretty amazing. I like telling that story.
Yeah. What's it feel like? Is it really peaceful down there?
Yeah, it is, unless someone's like nagging you on the comp.
Oh yeah, sure.
But no, it is really peaceful. Yeah, I think, but the most peaceful is sitting on a surfboard on the surface. That's even more peaceful. Although with sat diving, you don't even have bubbles. Like if you go and do a scuba dive, you hear every time you breathe out the bubble.
Yeah.
You don't even have that, because they reclaim the helium that you're breathing out, because it's expensive and hard to get. So it all goes back to the surface, and then they scrub the CO2 out that you breathe, and they inject oxygen into it and just keep reusing it. Yeah. So you get somebody else's curry breath or whatever.
Nice. Nice. Great. So it's good that you're on a continuous health journey. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Yeah, we'll share and transfer, but let's make sure it's all good and positive, and that in the main that you're interfacing with others that are like-minded, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that we'll pull together and suck on clothes. So there's this freshness, right?
Yeah, freshness after you've spat that oil out that's taken all the toxins out of your body.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I really do enjoy doing that. Okay, so you have a book in you, yeah?
Yeah.
So how long is it going to be before this well, is it going to be your story? Is it going to be sharing what you've learned? What flavor is that going to take? It could go in a few directions.
Yeah, I know. I often think about it, and not many people. Some people will tell, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, book, yeah, sure." My mother's always been the most positive there.
Okay.
Up until you came along, Sally.
Yeah, I'm gunning for it.
But I think more so, other than just telling my story, but I wouldn't mind having some sort of message in it, and sharing, if you know what I mean. I think there's something that I could be better at sharing, or haven't quite found my way to share what I've got.
Yeah.
So I do need to write that book. I need to.
Well, podcast is the first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that just even sitting down and chatting about your kind of aspirations and, you know, where you've come from, what you've learned along the way, because, you know, this is really quite decentralized, then, you know, it's inspiring and it'll be picked up and you'll be helping somebody else like on their journey, because we're all at different kind of stages and we've all got slightly different interests and we learn in different ways. That whole kind of neuro linguistic kind of programming, whether, you know, it's visual or, you know, you like to read or, you know, you listen to podcasts, and then that kind of informs your journey. But when you're channeling and you're channeling your energy and your focus into those goals and dreams that you have, and you're not deviating from it, you're living that kind of conscious, higher kind of life, then anything's possible, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but
Yeah,
yeah.
no, you're right. Yeah. Anything's possible. Yeah, I had something else I was going to add, but I can't really. It's gone.
Is it perfect? It's gone. It'll come back. We can always do another one. But yeah. So Alistair is he's been using the products for about a year.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
yeah. And I think through this product testing, and maybe it was an order that you had a query on that we started talking. But it's just incredible the stories that we get kind of from individuals, and I think it is, we're all kind of following you know, like a higher existence for ourselves. We all want peace, we all want to feel that connection, we all want to feel vital, we all want to thrive, and that's perfect. It's so lovely to meet you. I'm
Oh,
so
you too.
glad that you were passing by Adelaide.
Worked out well, didn't
Yeah,
it?
that worked out really well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it's a wrap.